Joining me now to discuss the Middle East and more is Senator Coach Tommy Tuberville of Alabama. He serves on several Senate committees, including the Armed Services Committee. Coach, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, Tony, how you doing? Hey, could I throw something in on your Obamacare debacle that we're going through right now? And the air traffic controllers, there's about 500 of them the last 2 days that have come out. They're sick and they just can't go to work. That's out of 20,000 or so. So I talked to the FAA director today. It's not a problem as we speak, but people need to go to work. I mean, that's at the end of the day, we need to privatize the air traffic control system. This doesn't need to happen again. But I just want to let you know, I've talked to the FAA director, and things are going fine unless we just have a major walkout. And what happened last time a major walkout happened? Ronald Reagan fired them all. But there was a lot less at that time.
Well, and I wouldn't put that past Donald Trump as president to do the same.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, people need to do their job, quit worrying about politics and do their job. You understand a lot of this. You know, Obamacare has been a disaster for the American people, and we're trying to put a face to it up here, you know, a little at a time, trying to make sure it works for the American people. But that was a huge debacle back in 2012, and the Democrats own that, and so they're trying to blame it all on the Republicans now, but it is a Democrat problem from day one.
Well, and what they're wanting is these huge subsidies that were given out during COVID that were set to expire in December of this year. They want to extend those. And of course, the conversation I had on the Hill with you and your colleagues today was the fact that this funds abortion. This goes all the way back to President Obama. They skirted the Hyde Amendment, and there's no way I could see the Republicans supporting something that would not only add $1.5 trillion to the nation's debt, but fund abortion.
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you look at the whole deal here, there's a tremendous amount of fraud. There's a tremendous amount of people that are illegals that are on this. That takes billions of dollars. So that's where it all starts. I'm glad you brought up the Hyde Amendment. They're looking for any possible way that they can fund abortion and transgender surgeries and all that nonsense. But the bottom line, too, is insurance companies have to get skin in the game here. These insurance companies are the one that's making all the money. And come up with some more plans. Insurance companies, get out there and do your job. Come up with more plans where people can afford health care, and people need to have skin in the game when it comes to everybody in the country, whether it's $5 or $10 a week. You know, if you've got skin in the game, we know that it's not fraud, and you understand that, hey, this is pretty important. So, I mean, this is a time bomb waiting to go off, but this has been waiting to go off for years since Obamacare started.
But when the government pays the bill, nobody really cares if there's fraud in the process, and that's what we've seen, uncovered a lot of that. All right, Senator, I want to move on to the issue of Israel-Hamas, the negotiations. News out today that could be seeing a deal by the end of the week.
Yeah, this has really been unfortunate. 2 years yesterday, or of the massacre that we had in right outside of Gaza in Israel. What a tough time it's been for the Israelis. But you keep hearing about, Israel they're killing all these innocent people in Gaza. I just want to bring up one point. What about the 10,000 Christians that have been killed this year in Nigeria by Islamic terrorists? Nobody says anything about that. Nobody says anything other than, we got to protect these Palestinians. Listen, I don't want anybody dead. I don't want anybody killed, but I want everybody to have a fair opportunity. President Trump came up with a great 20-point plan, and I hope that the Hamas looks at this and understands this is probably your last chance. President Trump, I think, thinks it's pretty strong that they might agree to something on this, and he mentioned he might go to the Middle East this weekend. That means that they're getting close to it. But finally, the Europeans are falling in on this and saying, let's get this thing over with. We can't really count on them very often. But again, there's a two-headed sword here. We got to look at Christians, too, the same way that we're looking at Gaza. And we got to start protecting Christians across this world, because the Islamic extremism right now is running rampant all over the world, and it's coming to a theater near you here in the United States.
Well, you mentioned Nigeria. It's a country we've tracked very closely back during the previous Trump administration when I served on the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. Secretary Pompeo actually designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. The Biden administration took that off. We're waiting to see if this administration, the second Trump administration, will designate them as a country of particular concern. That could allow for sanctions and other tools to make religious freedom an important aspect of our foreign policy with them.
Yeah, nobody likes for the United States to just jump in at every battle or every war. It seems like in your and my lifetime, Tony, we've always done that. But we protect people. At the end of the day, these people are unarmed. They have no hope in Nigeria. And again, they're Christians, and they're being targeted by a group of people that want to take this world over. And we have got to start talking about it. We've got to understand it. People have got to believe that, hey, we cannot allow this to happen to anybody. But it's a mass slaughter over there, and I would hope you would continue to talk about it, and the whole world would start to talk about it more, and we can get a stop to this massacre that they're having over there.
Well, we won't stop talking about it till it's resolved. Senator, we just have about a little over a minute left. You were one of 8 Republican senators and a member of Congress that was targeted by the FBI during the Biden administration under Arctic Frost, the Arctic Frost investigation. What do we know about that?
Well, we didn't know anything about this till we had a briefing. The 8 of us were called to a briefing by Dan Bongino on Tuesday. Walked in, had no clue what it was about, and come to find out whistleblowers are starting to sing, Tony, all over these agencies. And so this is just one area here that said, listen, you had senators that were monitored, and their phone records were released by AT&T and Verizon. And it was all because of Jack Smith. This guy shouldn't be able to get a job as a dog catcher. I mean, this is what the Democrats have done. They have gone after Republicans so much that they feel like they're above the law. And enough's enough of this nonsense, and let's start putting people in jail.
Well, and we got to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Because if not, we'll see a leftist administration get back in, and they'll just pick up where they left off. It's so important to put the guardrails.
It'll be all.
Yeah. Coach, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
All right, Tony. God bless. Thank you.